Twitter, but after the game I saw a few mentions of this. Apparently the Cass club Twitter feed was basically saying that every try that was scored was off the back of a refereeing mistake.
I wonder if Darryl Powell agrees with that.
I'm pretty sure he took his players to the cleaners after it.
I'm pretty sure he would have done it as well. Right, last week Tyler Cass fan said something on the lines of they're going to do Hull KR by 50 points. And we called him out on it. And fair play to the boy, in the spirit of holding your hands up when you say things that are a bit stupid on a podcast. He got in touch. He said, "Let's all laugh at Tyler. That's the last time I said in a prediction. I thought those performances were behind us. We were beaten all over the pitch, and fair play to KR for turning it around after last week. Embarrassing and unacceptable from the Tigers today." But thank you for getting in touch, Tyler. Good man. Okay, what was the tail of the round, Mark?
Well, as Sarah Scoots Mackenzie knows, most points in a round this year, it averaged of 67 points per game. Unsurprisingly, this round had the most tries in it too so far this year. A remarkable 71 tries being scored in the 6 games. So that's an average of more than 10 per game.
Yeah.
The 67 points per game beats any round average last year. There was a round in the Super 8s where there was 64 points per game in it. That it's just, thrilling excitement for try scoring this week. And also a note for 3 of the games featuring hat-tricks on the losing side.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
So bittersweet for 3 players out there.
There you go. Okay, so what did that do to things in the predictions and Super League, in the Dream Team and Super League?
Well, you won on the predictions against me for the first time in a while, I would guess. 4 out of 6 and 3 out of 6 scored respectively, so well done to you, sir.
Thank you.
I think it might have been the St Helens Leeds game that swung it your way.
Yeah.
In terms of the Super Brew, Elliot Wrench, with his team Spanners, took the yellow cap and extended his lead at the top. So well done to Elliot.
Continues to do well.
He keeps putting it down to just lucky guesswork, but at some point, surely there's some...
Sure, he's going to give himself some credit at some point. Yeah.
And Liam Reddington had a good week in the Dream Team, extending his league at the top, although it was Mark Coolican who kept his run towards the top from a good April period, continuing. League best 643 this week.
There you go. I pegged you back a little bit more this week.
Oh, mate, I'm fucked in it.
Yeah, I'm not doing great. Right, let's take a look then at some results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. Okay, elsewhere in rugby league then, into the Championship. It was round 12 of competition time in the second tier. It was Sheffield 24, London 56. Big win for the Broncos away from home there. Chris Macy got in touch. He said, "So proud of the lads. Such a result tonight and shows what we are capable of if we scrub up on our execution. Proper chuffed." Paul Campbell got in touch. "What a statement from the lads tonight. Written off as a midway team at the start of the season." In other results then, it was Whitehaven 14, Oldham 6. Halifax were 23 points to 14 winners over Dewsbury. There was a close one played at Fev as it finished 24 points to 30 in favour of the Leeds Centurions against the Rovers. Bradford scored 10 tries, beating Workington 52 points to 16 in James Lowes' final game in charge. And Batley Bulldogs were beaten at home 24 points to Swinton Lions' 32.
I think that's 4 wins in a row for the Lions.
Credit to them.
The Fev League game basically came down to the last set, so it was a good game to pick as the game of the week. It's a shame that no one who was at the game got in touch with us about it, because we would have loved to hear more about that one. But it really did sound like Fev threw everything they could at Lee in the last 5 minutes or so and just couldn't get on level terms in the end. So an exciting one down there at, is it still the Big Fellas Stadium?
The Big Fellas Stadium, yeah. Post Office Road.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so what does that mean for the Championship table then, Mark?
Well, Leeds stay top, London are in second, and Bradford rise to third. The big story might be the other full-time team, though, really. Sheffield, they're in seventh and level on 8 points with promoted side Swinton, who sit in, I want to say, 9th, 10th.
Yes,
9th or 10th. Anyway, Workington stay adrift at the bottom. They've only got 2 points.
Okay, it was round 6 in League 1. London scores with 52 points to 20 winners over Coventry. It was Hemel 10, North Wales Crusaders 38, Oxford 14 against Hundlets 40. And we got a feedback on this one from Ollie Smith. He said, great performance from the Blues this week, especially when down to 11 men. The scoreline definitely flattered Hunslet, and their fans were the first to admit that. 26-14 would have been a fairer result in my opinion. Nice to finally be in our new home though. York City Knights were 40 points to 6 winners over the South Wales Scorpions. Rochdale and Toulouse played out a 28-point all draw. There's a bit of a biting incident in this one. I don't know if you've seen any feedback from that, Mark. The Toulouse player accused of a bite.
I've seen the accusations about that and other nastiness in that game.
Bit of niggle.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was the Gloucestershire All Goals 18, Newcastle, and they said Newcastle Falcons then. Newcastle Thunder 21. Al Witt's got in touch. He's a Gloucestershire All Goals fan these days, Mark. A close match between two very even teams. Some strong goal line defence from both sides in a sometimes heated match. All Goals didn't fall off in the last 10 like in previous weeks, so we'll be pleased with the effort. The problem with small crowds is you can always hear the overly biased knobheads. One shield will be the aim for the All Goals now.
No, the League One shield.
Is that an L?
I don't know.
Number one.
Yeah.
All right, League One. I'm not having that as a mistake.
It looks like he was running out of characters.
I'm reading what's written. Okay, the League One shield will be the aim for the All Goals. Now, it was Doncaster 21, Barrow 18, and Dave Brown got in touch with us again. He's our resident Donny fan. He says, it's rough, it's tough, it's rugby league. This game saw no quality but plenty of excitement with big hits galore. This came to a head in the 25th minute with a Connor Scott red card for a Ben Flower type moment. At this point, I feared the worst, and we went on at 6. The second half saw the Dons show Andy real fight for nearly 2 seasons, winning 21-18. That threw me a little bit. I'm not having that one either.
No.
I do my best.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for League One? The League One standings, Mark?
Well, I'm glad that we got so many tweets in on the
amazing,
games there, or messages through the Google form. That's great. We love to see that. I'd like to hear from some Scholars fans if they listen, because they're on a great run at the moment. They actually briefly were at the top, weren't they, along with London being briefly at the top of with the Broncos being at the top of the Championship as well. So it's great. That's a great story down there. Obviously the fixtures must have fallen slightly kindly, but they've beaten the North Wales side, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I think Newcastle as well. So they're going well. 3 teams stay unbeaten, but it's Rochdale on 9 points that sits top. The London Scholars are riding high in 4th after the weekend, showing there is value outside the heartland. But unfortunately, the Oxford Blues stay bottom and winless. Okay,
so into the NRL then, Mark. It was the Brisbane Broncos 30, the South Sydney Rabbitohs 8.
Jack Reed grabbed a try assist in 101 metres. Tom Burgess had 116 metres, and Sam Burgess had 131 metres with 46 tackles going both ways.
Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs beat the Gold Coast Titans by 21 points to 20.
And James Graham was massive for his side, 238 metres.
The Canberra Raiders went berserk on the West Tigers with a 60 points to 6 victory.
And Dally M leader Josh Hodgson is 3 try assists and 104 metres. Elliot Whitehead had a try assist, 128 metres, 2 clean breaks.
Alan Cale got in touch with us and he said, not so much a review as a comment of how well Josh Hodgson is playing, an integral part of that team and first choice for England. Question for you both, which player would you like to have seen move down under and take up the challenge? Alan.
I look a bit further back to sort of my earlier days of watching rugby league, so I'd say probably I'll go back 15 years or so, and I think the players that really should have done it were people like Sculthorpe and Farrell.
Yeah.
I think that they would have been good people to see.
Yeah.
Because they always performed on the international stage for a long period of time in their careers, and you just felt like they could have done it. Another player, I suppose, you'd
please don't take my answer.
And
go on.
Another couple you've thrown into that mix is Fielden and Peacock.
They were going to be my answer.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, but that's for exactly the same reasons though, as you. They were just always consistent to a higher standard. I think Peacock would have carved up. Peacock particularly.
What about current players then? What current players do you want to see in the NRL.
So this time a year ago, I would have said Callum Watkins, but I'd quite like to see him performing in Super League before we send him off down to Australia. And I'm not surprised by how well Elliot Whitehead's doing, but I am pleased to see him doing quite as well as he is doing. I don't know. I think it would be nice to see. So I think it's easy to think of forwards because they can go in and kind of do the job. Do you know what I mean? So I've always got a bit of a soft spot for like a Kyle Amor or Alex Walmsley's not been great this year. Chris Hill, he's the one I'd send down. Chris Hill should go down there and fucking mortalise him.
You'd think he would be a star performer from the off, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I just don't think that move's going to happen for him now.
I don't think he's in. I don't think he's bothered and
Roby position as well.
I'd
hate to see more Wigan players nip off down there.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see how Don Manfredi would compete, given how many tackles he breaks and how good he is at returning kicks. And the one thing that what's his face has said is holding Joe Burgess back a little bit is he doesn't think he returns kicks hard enough.
Right.
Or doesn't make those tough carries hard, and doesn't hit the line hard enough on those tough carries. Now you certainly early set carries. You certainly can't say that about Don Manfredi.
No, you can't. What do you think about your
Jermaine McGilvery would be another one for similar reasons.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We found out about him, didn't he, from a New Zealand point of view in that third test.
Yeah.
How about your second row then? Do you think, because there's an abundance of talent there with Farrell and Bateman, but do you think, given the way the Aussie game is, do you think they've got the size to be a success?
Well, I think Liam Farrell's game is modelled almost identically on Ryan Hoffman's game.
Okay.
So, from that perspective, I don't see why not, even though he is undersized. The problem might come up in the continuous nature of playing. What I would love to see is Ben Garcia get a game for Penrith. That's what I would love to see.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
But, yeah.
So who would you send? Who was your answer?
Oh, current players?
Yeah.
I'd probably go with McGilvery would be one. Maybe send him to the Newcastle Knights to replace Uati, whose party is... the
Uati party is stalled, hasn't it?
It's party's poop now.
Yeah.
And in the forwards, I would love to see... We've been talking about Mike McMeekin a bit going down there. I would quite like to see that. I think he's got the build and the physique. And also, I think of Walmsley.
Yeah. There you go. So quite a few that we think there.
Yeah.
I like those sort of questions though, thank you, Alan. Okay, back to the Aussies then. It was North Queensland Cowboys 32, Parramatta Eels 16. The Cronulla Sharks keep up their impressive start to the season with a 20 points to 18 win over the Penrith Panthers. Newcastle Knights lost at home by 26 points to 10 against the Manly Sea Eagles. St George Illawarra Dragons registered a victory 20 points to 18 over the hapless Sydney Roosters.
Well, Gareth Widdop got a try and a try assist in this one. Mike Cooper 147 metres. Joe Burgess played.
All right, good stuff.
He didn't get given much ball, but he played.
They probably don't trust him, he's a bit shit.
And the Dragons though were 18-0 up at half time, and then kind of were lucky that
they didn't juke it away.
What's his face? Hastings, is it? The number 7.
Yeah.
For the Roosters has got a really shit kicking game at the moment because his short kicking game was terrible. And Latrell Mitchell was trying too much to be the man, and not playing what was in front of him necessarily, and that's a shame because we love a bit of Latrell, don't we?
We do like a bit of Latrell.
And do you know who else played in this game? Made his debut in the stand-off position was Terry Mattison's nephew.
All right.
Yeah.
Like the ex-Castleford Tigers head coach.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Okay, and the final game in the NRL this weekend saw the Melbourne Storms thrash the New Zealand Warriors 42 points to 0.
Yeah, and we were all at work when that was on, so probably better that no one had to watch.
Can we just talk about, and this is something I wanted to bring up a couple of weeks ago and I forgot, and then I saw it again on Premier Sport, right? Billy Slater spent a period of time out injured last year, and everyone was really worried and like, oh, was it? You know when they do those interviews where they send like Erin Moyle or whatever her name is to interview like the player and his missus, right? Billy Slater and his missus are like symmetrical lookalikes of each other. Mostly down to the fact, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. Let's put that out there. But they've both got the same sort of haircut. They've both kind of got like short brown hair. quaff to one side. And I was sat here chuckling at myself thinking, Billy Slater looks just like his missus. And I thought, can you imagine what life would be like if our missuses or our other halves looked just like us? We'd be going out with two of the ugliest women on the planet. Whereas Billy Slater seems to have managed to attract quite an attractive young lady.
Maybe he's more attractive than we are.
I don't think it's that. I don't want to put it down to that the athletic millionaire Billy Slater's got more appeal to the opposite sex than I.
Fair enough. I don't think he's much more athletic than us at the moment. I mean, you're smashing these.
I'm smashing, yeah, and both my arms and shoulders work.
Yeah.
So that's a plus, isn't it? Maybe I could get a gig at the Melbourne Storm. How's things been going down in Brentwood?
Well, there was just one game this week.